Imagine placing your finger in a circular hole, feeling a slight resistance, and then waiting as the dial spun fully before releasing, only then to dial the next number. That slow, tactile ritual, that was how people talked across distances for much of the 20th century. This is the story of the rotary dial phone, its rise, its reign, its slow fade, and what it meant for our lives. Welcome to Retro Treasure Unearthed, where we dig into the fascinating objects and stories of bygone days. Today, we're dialing back into the age when a phone wasn't smart, it was mechanical, weighty, and full of character. Over the next 10 minutes, we'll trace its origins, share some nostalgic memories, examine why it slipped away, and reflect on what it tells us about how we communicate. The story starts in the late 19th and early 20th centuries, when telephone networks first emerged. Early phones used manual switchboards, and dialing was done by operators connecting plugs. But inventors and engineers soon sought automating the process. One milestone, in 1892, Almond Stroger invented a stepping switch that let users dial a number without an operator. Over ensuing decades, experimentation with pulse dialing continued. By the 1920s and 1930s, many telephone companies adopted rotary dials for automatic switching. The rotary dial's design evolved: numbers 1 to 9 and 0, finger holes, a spring, return mechanism, internal pulsing, stops, etc. Models varied by country and manufacturer, e.g. Western Electric 500 series in the US, Siemens models in Europe. In mid-century, the rotary phone became ubiquitous in homes, offices, and even public payphones. In the 1950s to the 1970s, phone design diversified in color and form: ivory, pastel greens or pinks, sleek plastics. As networks modernized, dialing speed and accuracy improved. People memorized numbers rather than consulting directories. The rotary dial shaped the rhythm of calling, its pauses, its tactile pacing. You might briefly compare it to pulse versus tone dialing. Throughout, culturally, the rotary phone became a fixture, common in sitcom sets, movies, and everyday life. For many of us, or our parents or grandparents, the rotary phone wasn't just a tool, it held texture and ritual. I remember growing up visiting my grandparents and picking up the heavy handset. You could sense the weight, the click of the dial, the gentle hum of dial tone, and the satisfying snap as the dial returned. In old movies and TV shows, the phone rings with a twin bell chime, or the user lifts the receiver and shouts, "Operator." That feeling of anticipation, wondering if the call would connect, something you don't get with instantaneous smartphones. Perhaps you recall waiting your turn. If someone else was on the line, the ringer wouldn't disturb them, you had to wait until the line was free. Or misdialing: if you released too early, the pulse might be wrong and you'd have to start over. In some households, kids used the coiled cord to swing the handset around. Don't try that now. Or people draped it on the wall hook, the receiver dangling. Or they'd prank dial or leave the phone off hook. The rotary dial phone invites stories: love calls at night, whispered conversations, party lines where multiple households shared the same line, a mental image rare in today's age of private digital lines. But as with all technology, rotary phones eventually faced extinction. In the 1960s onward, touch-tone, DTMF, systems were developed, allowing rapid digit signaling. Telephone networks gradually upgraded to support tone dialing, which was faster and more flexible. The 1970s and 1980s saw increasing deployment of push-button phones. Many systems continued to support rotary, pulse, dialing for years, but the writing was on the wall. In the 1990s and 2000s, as digital switching, cellular networks, and mobile phones surged, landline demand dropped. Legacy rotary phones couldn't interface with modern VoIP systems or digital PBX networks in many cases. Some regions phased out pulse dialing support entirely. As the cost of maintaining analog circuits rose, service providers pushed users toward newer systems. Today, rotary phones are novelty items, collectibles, design pieces, or retro decor. Few people still use them practically, and in many places, they simply no longer work on modern lines. Yet, some enthusiasts hack them to work with modern adapters, e.g. pulse-to-DTMF converters, or integrate them into art projects or steampunk installations. The dial still evokes hands-on mechanical wonder. So what does the story of the rotary phone teach us? First, it reminds us that communication is as much about experience as function. How we interface with a device matters. The rotary dial had slowness built in, and that slowness shaped our patience, expectation, and ritual. Second, it shows a shift from mechanical, tactile interaction to invisible digital interfaces. As we move further into wireless, instant, touchscreen systems, we lose certain tactile memories. And third, it suggests nostalgia has power. People reclaim these old tools not because they outperform modern ones, but because they connect us to a slower, more deliberate rhythm of life. If you have an old rotary phone, or a memory of using one, drop a comment below. What recollection comes to mind? I'd love to hear. Thanks for watching this journey through dial time. If you enjoyed this deep dive, like, subscribe, ring the bell, though not on a rotary, and join me next time on Retro Treasure Unearthed, where we uncover more treasures of the past. Until then, keep unearthing the echoes of yesterday.